What's going on? Give me a second. How about them Panthers? That's right. All right, guys, give me a second.
New information. This special marine warning has been updated.
What's going on? What is going on? 2 years in a row is correct. Back to back. We're going to do back to back, though. That's rough, Cheryl. All right, let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on. We've got a pretty large marginal to slight risk for severe weather. Possible to go enhanced. I honestly don't think it will based on what I've seen this morning. Right out here, through all of the plains and upper Midwest. And then up here in the Northeast, we've got a little bit of a threat too. Although this severe threat up in the Northeast should actually be winding down as we get into the evening. We do have a catastrophic damage threat flash flood warning. This is a flash flood emergency out here. It includes cities like Guilford. This is in upstate New York. Guilford, Norwich, North Norwich, Sherborne, Greene, Coventry, and Bainbridge and Sydney. So just be aware that that's happening right now. Let me see why this isn't playing. There we go. If we were to take a look at our big map, what's going on weather-wise, I'm going to go over some notes, and then I'm going to take questions. Here's what's going on across the country right now. We've got a nice little low pressure. Actually, I haven't even looked. I believe this is a upper level low that's going to bring this kind of tail of severe weather into the plains. I'll confirm that in a second. Actually, let me go to satellite real quick. Let's go to satellite. Okay, yeah, that's much better. Let's look at our long wave. There it is. Yep, there's our low. You can actually see this kind of the tail of this low forming right now. This is what is going to be. Cheryl, I appreciate that. $10 super chat. Seriously, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Oh, look at that. I didn't realize that would pop up. I forgot I had set that up. Oh my gosh. Cheryl, I appreciate you. Blondie, what's going on? What is going on? Thank you so much. Yep, the flash flood emergency for Norwich, New York, and the surrounding region. So yeah, this kind of tail here is going to be moving up into the Northeast, and this is going to bring us our severe weather today. As of late, it's not looking too bad, but we're going to get into that and see what, how bad it may actually be. Tornado-wise, we're looking at a pretty decently large 2% here, stretching through portions of Nebraska, northwestern Iowa, eastern South Dakota, and North Dakota, and most of Minneapolis, a little portion of northwestern Wisconsin as well. That main focus for tornadoes, although, again, you never want to just focus on the highest risk zones. Here you go. So you can see what I'm talking about, is up here in central to northern Minnesota and portions of northeastern South Dakota and southeastern North Dakota. So that's our kind of tornado risk today. We do have a little bit of severe weather going on out here in the Northeast, but it's there's no tor risk with it. Again, this is going to be mainly a wind and hail-driven threat. You can see You see central to north Minnesota, we do have that 15% hatch risk for damaging winds and hail. So 70, 80 plus mile per hour gusts, tree limbs down, power outages are going to be possible up here with winds, and we could get 3-4 inch plus 3 to 4 inch plus. Why can't I think about what I'm trying to say? Put 3 to 4 inch plus diameter hail. Jesus, I feel like I was having a stroke. Okay, that's not funny though. Going into our hail, I literally was like, why aren't words coming out of my mouth? Going into hail, just a small 5% hail risk out here in the Northeast. And then we have that, obviously, that SIG hail chance up here in central to northern Minnesota. Taking a look, we do have this. I'm not really paying too much attention to this. 10% chance for tropical development out here in the northern Pacific, western to northern Pacific, northern Atlantic. Over the next, why am I saying Pacific? Over the next 5 to 7 days. Even if this forms, this is going to move off into the north, and it's not going to bother anyone, most likely. Waters are still pretty cold in the northern Atlantic, and yeah. But could it be our first, significant, maybe Atlantic tropical system? Maybe. It's not going to affect anyone. It's not expected to affect anyone. The Eastern Pacific does not slow down. We could have another, and it's saying 5 to 7 days. I think in the next 3 to 4 days, we could have another tropical system on our hands, maybe even a hurricane. This one hopefully isn't going to affect land. I think it's just going to move off to the west and miss Mexico. Obviously, we wouldn't want landfall in that same location as Eric. Eric did a lot of damage. So that's what's going on in the tropics. Last thing I wanted to talk about before I get to chat is if we do take a look, not the Dakotas again, I agree. If we do take a look at our temperature outlook, again, this is expected to remain very hot, and it's super easy to see why. Well, when we take a look at what's going on with our jet stream. Let me get this up so you guys can see it. So when we take a look at what's going on with our jet stream, wait, does that say we have a? Why is that red for severe thunderstorm warning? It should be orange, not red. There's no tornado warning. Whatever. Overlays red. Taking a look at our European 500 millibar. Actually, here we'll take a look at our GFS since we already have the 12Z loaded. And let's get into our jet stream upper level winds. Here we go. Massive ridge is basically now set up and will continue to look like this. Negative PNA for quite a while. Here's our big high pressure. It's going to keep us dry and it's going to keep us hot out here. Temperatures up in the northern portions of New England could remain somewhat cold. UP up here, Michigan, Wisconsin, portions of northern Illinois, maybe a little bit cooler than some of the areas down here. But overall, most people central and out east are going to be very hot. Going to be very hot. You can see this ridge. Look at this ridge holding. And then maybe we get a zonal flow and a cool down as we get to late June, 29th, 30th. But it's going to be hot for a while. And it's easy to see. I talked about it in my video today, but it's easy to see when you take a look at the temperature anomalies. There you go. Staying hot. I mean, big cool down on the GFS way out in La La Land. July. Oh, that'd be nice for July 4th. A little cool down. July 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, but we'll see. That's too far out to actually know if we're going to see that. I wonder if the European sees that major cool down out east happening all the way out there. No, it doesn't. It sees it extremely hot. That's why we don't trust models that far out. the European sees the exact opposite. I'm not too surprised. All right. It's a lot of heat. Oops, I didn't mean to open that. Anyways, yeah, you guys have any questions about today? Let's go back to our severe threat today. And actually, I think I want to cover one more thing real quick. I do want to take with you guys a quick look at the latest HRRR. How bad is this looking? That's what I want to know. How bad is this looking today? I just kind of went over it for my video, but any pop-up storms coming into mid-Tennessee today? Or are we looking at anything? I don't think so. You guys should be fine. Like I said, we've got a stationary high pressure over the southeast. I mean, the HRRR wants to put a couple of pop-up storms down there. I don't know if I fully believe that. You've got a pretty nice high pressure sitting over you, so I think the odds are it stays dry for the majority of Tennessee. Here we go. So not much happening until we get into around 5 p.m. Central Time. The latest HRRR is not looking very impressive, which is a good thing. You get some decent looking supercell action up there in northern Minnesota, a little bit spread out here through portions of central Nebraska and northwestern Nebraska, and then a little bit out here through portions of Kansas and eastern New Mexico. But I'm not seeing anything too dangerous. Now, as we get later into the evening, western Nebraska, and I'm talking about 10, 11 p.m., a pretty nice lineup of storms. So this may be, I mean, like, based on the latest run, this are probably the most concerning areas. Just based on this model run, we'll take a look at a couple, but that could be interesting. And taking a look at our instability numbers. I'm not seeing a crazy amount of instability out there in western Nebraska, but you don't need much. Let's take a look at our SIG. What's going on with our SIGTOR on the HRRR? Yeah, there's decent amount of SIGTOR up there in eastern North Dakota. It's central to really northern Minnesota. Let me take a look at one more thing before we get going here. Let's take a look at what the Rufus is showing for us today. I want to compare a couple of these models. The Rufus likes an aggressive look in northern Minnesota as well, so there's model consensus. Potentially eastern North Dakota. The Rufus also puts that target on central to western Nebraska. So there's model agreement there. If I see model agreement here on the NAM3K as well, then that's probably something. So northern Minnesota again, central to western Nebraska, maybe southeastern South Dakota. So again, every single model we're looking at really is watching this and is watching, we'll say, this section as well. So not that we couldn't get strong to severe thunderstorms down here. Hail, wind, tornadoes, okay? Not as likely, but we still could. So that's why I say pay attention anywhere in the risk zone. With our last second moderate that we had up in North Dakota the other day, we had a moderate to enhanced up here, and we had some very strong storms to the south of it in the slight. So again, if you're in any of these risk zones, pay attention. But again, this section and this section look to be pretty active, and we seem to have some model agreement on throughout the model. So especially if you're in those, you need multiple ways to get alerts. Up here, this is an event that I expect to actually start winding down within the next few hours. Not much going on up here. I don't expect much more severe weather out of these storms, but not impossible. These storms are moving down into are moving across eastern PA and into New Jersey. All right. Anyways, let's get to questions. What's going on, everyone? Can I show El Paso? Wow, what's going on there right now? Yeah, where's El Paso? It's down here, right? Am I going crazy? That was close. Let's see what's going on the radar. Not much going on the radar, but if we're taking a look at our outlook, you know, one thing I know is excessive rainfall out here in Western. Excessive rainfall may be an issue out here. So I was looking at this earlier. Daily. Let's go to our day one. Yeah, they're a little bit concerned about excessive rainfall out here. Let me show you. I believe we have a slight risk. Here you go. So, yeah. Far western Texas, southeastern, south central New Mexico. Slight risk for excessive rainfall. So, really from El Paso out east towards Fort Stockton, Fort Davis, up towards Carlsbad. That's going to be kind of a threat for you guys today. You guys are the only slight excessive rainfall risk for today. What's going on in Cincinnati, Ohio? Not much today. Not much today. You guys aren't even in a general thunderstorm risk. Tennessee is, and we did see some pop-up showers, but nothing severe is expected down here. There's just not a ton of instability, shear. You just have some general daytime heating thunderstorms. There's a little bit of moisture off the Gulf. It's not really too scary down here, but you sometimes see a severe storm or two pop up in general thunder, so it's best to understand what's going on. Stay updated. It is so hot everywhere. I know. Well, it's so hot everywhere. It's pretty cool, actually, up here. The Rockies are doing pretty cool, especially the Northern Rockies right now. They woke up to temperatures in the 30s in June. In June. I was yawning. You know what that means, chat. Red Bull time. Anything for Blaine, Minnesota? Let's take a look at this. Jasmine, I appreciate you. Yeah, Blaine, Minnesota, you're in the slight today. I don't know if you're going to be very close to being in that tour risk. So Blaine, you're literally Minneapolis Metro. Yeah, you're right on the border of that tour risk as well. I'd have a way to get weather alerts today. It is, and it's not a super high chance, but it is possible to see severe thunderstorms with damaging winds, hail, and maybe a tornado or two in and around central to northern Minnesota. So, I mean, really anywhere in Minnesota, but central to northern looks the most likely. It's 17 degrees in Winnipeg. That's crazy. That's actually wild. Yeah, I mean, we've got this, like I showed earlier, we've got this major ridge. Our jet stream is doing this right now. So you've got very, very intense heat coming up over here and some pretty intense cold being forced down out west. So you actually typically see this type of jet stream set up more in winter than in summer. It's amazing how storm trackers can call it better than the natural services. They were, you know, sometimes I scratch my head. It's crazy. Let me see. There's also they had 3-minute warning because they were watching. When they were safe. That's good. Coatesville, PA. All right, don't spam. You don't need to spam. You don't need to spam. I'm not actually. Let's do this. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the mute. Anything for Grand Forks, North Dakota? Where are you guys up there? Odds are on it. Yeah. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about. The Rufus HRRR and NAM like this area for some supercell development tonight, for some of the potential stronger storms that we could see today. So yeah, extreme eastern North Dakota, you want to be paying attention as we push into the evening hours, even late afternoon today. Everything's on the table out here for severe weather-wise, wind, hail, and tornadoes. So just make sure you're weather aware, and you'll be just fine. Anything for Albuquerque, New Mexico? You're not even in the general thunderstorms. The only area in New Mexico, the area of New Mexico I'm actually most concerned about. I mean, yeah, you've got eastern New Mexico, but the excessive rainfall down here. Come on, weather-wise. The excessive rainfall down here, we'll have to watch that. Flash flooding is definitely going to be a possibility. But no, Albuquerque should be good. We'll see. Risk zones shift during the day. Models shift. So I always say, even if you're right outside these risk zones, you want to pay attention to the updates, because sometimes we see some pretty large, not usually large, but sometimes we see some large shifts as the day moves on and where we think the severe weather is going to be focused at. What's going on, Raj? What is up? Is it Ray J? I'm going to pronounce everyone's name wrong. Marissa. What's poppin'? Midland, Texas? Guys are in that general thunderstorm right outside of that categorical today. Let's take a look at the HRRR, what it's seen here. Yeah, Ray J. Yeah, I figured. What's up, man? Hope your day's going good. This is probably going to be a 30-40 minute stream because we'll see. I'm going to get on later. I haven't been on as much lately, and we're going to try to get back to the normal schedule of daytime and then evening stream. So that's the goal. Here's the latest HRRR. Thinking maybe we could get some thunderstorms in and around Midland today, but as you see here, it really doesn't put anything into Midland. Weather doesn't RSVP. Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. There's gonna be some convection potential in and around Midland. So sometimes you do get some strong thunderstorms sparking up that the models don't pick up on. You're gonna have the conditions out there. Yeah, stay hydrated, stay cool. Exactly. Yeah, it's a hot one for everyone. There's not much severe weather potential in the Ohio Valley, Mississippi Valley, Southeast. You've got hot air. You've got some pretty humid air in a lot of these areas, so that's why you could get some storms firing up. There's just not the conditions for very severe storms, although, like I said, sometimes randomly you do get a strong, severe thunderstorm in one of these areas that we don't expect it. And with a lot of heat and a lot of humidity and moisture, this is one of those days where I wouldn't be surprised if we got a couple of strong to severe storms out here that were unexpected, but it's not a super, super toxic environment. You see there was a potential tornado last night in Ontario? Happened literally 20 minutes away from here. No, I didn't see that. I'm not surprised, though. We had a little bit of potential up there for it. We've got some severe thunderstorm warnings up here in Ontario right now, Western. Let's take a look at these. Look at that. Wow, these are moving. Oh my God, they're in Canada, so I can't see how fast they're moving. Nah, these got to be moving 70 plus miles per hour. These thunderstorms up here. These are moving. Oh my gosh, you probably get strong winds with these, just based on the speed of the storm. Not only with the downdraft potential, but oof. All right, Ear Falls, Red Lake, Dryden, Sioux Narrows. Yeah, those storms are moving. Wow. I think we had some. Yeah, these were up here in northern Minnesota and North Dakota earlier. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Listen, wind, hail, and tornadoes are all on the table today. None of them are extremely likely. Your most likely event would be small hail and maybe some 60, 70 mile per hour gusts potential in and around the Minneapolis metro. You're on the border of the 2% tour today, so I have weather alerts on. I'm not overly concerned about Minneapolis metro, but models are focusing, like I said, up here and here for a lot of the potential supercell action. But we're likely going to get some at least strong thunderstorms through Minneapolis today. Severe, I'm more iffy about, but you do. I mean, here just again, so you can see, you're right on the border of this 2% tour. You're involved in this really 5 to 15% wind and hail risk. So best to know what's going on in your area. It was near Ottawa. Wow. Canada does get tornadoes every year, but not a ton. You need a lot. It's a lot more rare of a setup to get them up there. What's going on? Extremely confused blonde. Fargo, North Dakota. Yep, Fargo, pay attention. You're just outside of the SIG hail. You're just outside of the SIG wind. You are in the SIG hail, meaning 3-4 inch diameter plus. Hail is possible, damaging hail. And I believe you're in that 5% tour, or you're on the border of it. No, you're on that 5% tour. They actually shifted this a little bit to the west, I noticed. And I'm glad they did, because we're starting to see model consensus on some supercells out here in far eastern North Dakota, especially southeastern North Dakota. You're in Grand Rapids, Minnesota? I didn't even know there was a Grand Rapids, Minnesota. Let me see. Okay, well, did you mean to say Michigan? Because I can't find a Grand Rapids, Minnesota. Wait, let's see. Let's try again. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah, you're in that 5%. Oh, yeah, you're in that 5%. You're in the 5%, and then you're in the SIG for hail and wind, so make sure you got a way to get alerts up there. This is an evening event for you guys, so far northern Minnesota, we could see these severe threat all the way into the early morning hours of Monday. Appreciate it, Confused Bomb. This is for today. We're talking about today's severe threat. Yeah. We are. Why is my overlay red right now, guys? Hold up. I'm going to fix it. Give me a second. Give me a second. I'm going to fix it, guys. Watch this. Spotter network. Services. Settings. Watch this. All right, just read what the severe threat says here. Okay, let's go into flash flood. Hold up.
A new flash flood warning has been issued.
Wait. Why isn't it changing? What happened? What happened to my RGB? All right. I'm gonna fix this. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna fix this. Hold up. I'm gonna fix this. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let's see if I fixed it. Or if this is a mess. Oh, I fixed it. Okay, it's supposed to be blue and there's no alerts. Thank God. You know, that would have been tragic if my overlay wasn't the right color. Not used to it saying zero alerts. Isn't that fantastic? Awaiting alerts. Yeah. Why is there nothing on the radar for Minnesota? There's some stuff on the radar up here to the north. Not much down here to the south. There will be. We're going to get storms firing up into the evening hour. We've got our main system that is going to be bringing all our weather today is out here to the west right now. This is our low pressure, and this is going to be the tail of it. This is going to be spinning into the plains as we get into the evening hours. So we're just waiting on it to get into place. But yeah, there's stuff on the radar in Minnesota. What's going on in this hemisphere? Starting to get some tropical waves maybe coming off at now. That's just the equator convection. Our tropical waves are typically going to come off up here, so not much going on there. What's going on in the... Here we go. Quiet out there in the Pacific. Just sun at 92 for Raleigh. Yeah, it's going to get even hotter. It's gonna get hotter. You guys want to see? Look at some of these temperature anomalies we could see. Watch this. Check this out. We'll go into heat index. All right, look at this. 100. This is today. It gets up to 100 degrees in multiple areas in the Carolinas, across the Ohio Valley and portions of the plains. Then tomorrow, oh my gosh, we're at 105 near. We're at like 105, 106 heat index through the Mid-Atlantic and portions of the Carolinas, Southeast. I mean, Indiana, Illinois, we're in the hundreds. Let's go into the next day. Oh my gosh, we're seeing 106, 107 heat index, 108 heat index. Oh my gosh, in South Carolina, 107 up there near Durham, Raleigh. We've got 105, 106 near DC, Eastern Virginia, Delaware. I mean, this is hot. Oh my gosh, especially out here, guys. The heat indexes out here are going crazy. Anyone in this circle in my stream? We're seeing not like 100 heat index. We're seeing like 105 to 110 the next few days. Especially starting tomorrow. What's going on, B? Guys, my wife just bought this fan. You wear it around your neck. She like saw it on TikTok Shop and it actually works. You wear it around your neck and it blows up like cool air on your face and onto your neck. And she tried the other day and she said it like works amazing and it's super cheap. I'd be rocking one of those if I'm going on walks out here. She goes on walks with the kids and she's like, I can't do this unless I have a fan. Yeah, I mean, look at this. 107, 108. We're I don't know. These might be, I think these are record-breaking temperatures for some of these areas. Even heat index, record-breaking. Another day. 105, 106, 106. We're talking like 3, 4, 5 days in a row. In the hundreds again, heat index. That's 4 days in a row. In the hundreds again, that's 5 days in a row. In the hundreds again, that's 6 days in a row. In the hundreds again, that's 7 days in a row. And I'm talking about, we're seeing hundreds in all of these areas. Yeah, that's like a week. And then we're going into 8 days. Heat index in the hundreds. 9. Okay, and then we start to get like a tiny bit of a cool down out east. Then the east gets a break. You've got heat indexes back down into the 80s, low 90s, and then you get really serious heat returning potentially. We'll see. This is very far out. Really serious heat potentially returning to the southern plains. But this is going to be, I mean, look at that. The flashing of white out east. That's tough. That is no fun. Look, the thing went back red. Let me see something real quick. Oh, I think it's red because of the flash flood emergency. I do want to remind people, now this expires in an hour, but you could still have some flash flooding going on. Norwich, North Norwich, Sherburne, this is upstate New York, Coventry, Bainbridge, Sydney. Flash flood emergency out here, damage threat catastrophic, so there's active flash flooding going on there. So if you're in a low-lying area, make sure you know what's happening. Even after this expires, rivers can still rise for the next 24 to 48 hours. Rivers and canals, streams. Yeah, Tennessee. Yeah, everyone out here is going to be close to some record highs over this week. Yeah, Brandon. It is 138 and 90 already. Yeah, your temperature is going to continue to rise for at least the next 2 hours too. Hottest part of the day is typically 3 to 4 o'clock. I'd say 2:30 to 3:30, but over summer it's more like 4 o'clock because the sun stays up for so long. Winter, your hottest part of the day moves up to like 12 or 1 because the sun goes down earlier. Yeah, I'm up here in the Philly region, and we have this like it says severe. We have a severe weather warning, and it's for heat. It's weird seeing severe weather warning for heat, but that's what it's for. Yeah. Will the disturbance form, and if it did, would it hit Florida? No. This is moving off into the North Atlantic. This is like moving off into the Pacific and not going to bother anyone. Could go back into Mexico. We'll have to see how. But it hasn't developed yet, so it's really hard. Before it develops and we have the ability to look at hurricane models like the HWRF and HMON and all that stuff, it's really hard to tell. It's really hard to tell direction. Canceling school tomorrow, supposed to be like 1 to 5. Yeah, I know in Minnesota is one of the only states, well, some of these northern states, they have heat and freeze days. Minnesota gets a lot of days off because their temperatures are so cold, but they also get heat days. States that are far away from oceans regulate temperature. Humidity regulates temperature. So the states with the largest temperature swings are the states and regions farthest away from the oceans. So the air. Do you remember? I think some people remember this was a few years back, maybe even 5-6 years back, where Colorado reached like 86 degrees, and then the next day they had, or Denver reached 86 degrees, and then the next day they had like 6 inches of snowfall within 24 hours. It went from like 86 to 20 degrees, like over a 50-degree temperature swing in 24 hours or something like that, or 60-degree temperature swing. States like, if you're like out here, you're at least that distance away from the ocean, these areas get way more drastic temperature swings. These are the areas that can get down to the negatives, and the areas that can get up into 110. And within a shorter period of time. I know that happens out here near the coast sometimes, but the temperature swings, all the record temperature swings are always in the center of the country. So it goes the same for Canada. You don't get the drastic temperature swings out here as much, but in the center of the country, you do get those. Like Canada up here, like these are the areas that are going to have drastic temperature swings. Living near the coast, I mean, I don't know if you guys know, like Miami's only ever reached 100 degrees, like actual temperature, like 3 times in recorded history. Miami only ever hit 100 degrees. How many times do you guys up here, anyone who lives up here, how many times will you hit 100 degrees over summer? Like 20? Miami's hit it 3 times in history. It's too much moisture. It's on the ocean. The humidity it moderates the temperature. It doesn't let it get too cold, and it doesn't let it get too warm. Yeah. People think like, oh God, it's got to get so hot down here. It's the same with areas far south in Texas, but no, it just doesn't. It can't. It doesn't have the ability to. It didn't hit 100 degrees for like 30 years down in South Florida. But it's like 90 every day. It just can't get to that point. But I'm telling you right now, like 85 degrees in Florida is the same as like 105 up here in portions of the central U.S. because they're at 90 to 100% humidity almost every day. Literally 90 or 80 to 100% humidity almost every single day. So their heat indexes are typically 10 to 15 degrees hotter than what their temperature is. So it doesn't make a difference, but just interesting. Yeah, a bunch over 100. Yeah. I mean, you guys may have, I don't even know how many, but it's crazy. In Georgia was sweating so much going to store. Yeah. Well, they call it hot Atlanta, right? You guys have so much humidity from both sides, and you're far enough south. Man, Georgia's summers are terrible. This right here is our 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. I'm just showing this so people understand how hot we're getting out here. This is our severe weather today. This is our categorical risk for severe weather. This is going to be winding down here within a few hours. This is going to be starting up as we get into the evening time, central time. Again, we're seeing a lot with the latest models, a lot of supercell potential in this area, in this region right here. And we're seeing a lot of supercell potential in this region right here. Now, if you're in any of these risk zones, you should have a way to get weather alerts today. But these two specifically, if you're in those, we could see some action. South Bend, Indiana. You guys are looking good today. You guys are going to be hot and probably pretty dry. Again, we've got a ridge. Our jet stream's pushing up like this. We got a big ridge of high pressure right here. That's keeping most of this dry. Could have some general thunderstorms today in the southeast, but yeah, Omaha today and tomorrow. Yeah, so Omaha, again, I'm seeing most of the storms out here central to western Nebraska. I wouldn't be surprised if Omaha didn't even get any thunderstorms today, but we'll see. Moving into day 2. There we are. Let's actually look at pivotal weather for day 2. Let's look at the latest. Let's go back to 12Z. All right. Here we go today. As I said, there's a lot. It's not really even a capping issue. It's just there's not forcing out there to the east because you've got your main frontal boundary out to your west. So again, we're seeing some pretty decent supercells out here in this region. You're not going to have much forcing out here or lift potential out here out far eastern Nebraska. So it is believable that you guys don't really see much today. Now moving into tomorrow, this line that's causing all those issues out to the west of you is going to move east. That's inevitable. Do these storms initiate though too far to the east, like the HRRR model thinks, where maybe Omaha's just to the north of some of this? The HRRR doesn't see any action in and around Omaha. I can almost bet you when I go to the Rufus model, we're gonna see some decent storms in and around Omaha tomorrow. Let's see. Okay, so again though, it pushes it just to the south and east, right? Because Omaha's like right central. Yeah, I always want to make sure. Yeah, because Omaha, you're right around here. So there's potential we get the strongest severe thunderstorms just to the south of Omaha all day. You see how close that is with the Rufus. Real close. This is what the HRRR is kind of thinking too. Storms initiate here and move out to the east. Omaha's right in here. So that's really close. Let's take a look at the NAM 3K. NAM 3K almost shows the same thing. It wants to put that kind of severe band just to the south and east of Omaha. I want to look at the HRRR. Let's take a look. Actually, I want to take a look at our dew points up here. Because if we get a dry line, that could be some good forcing in and around Omaha. It's not a sharp dry line. But then you can see this forcing down. There's gonna be plenty of buoyancy and lift in and around Omaha. Pretty high dew points. What is our 850 millibar looking like? Not too impressive. Let's take a look at our SIGTOR. Again, just to the south and east. Right now, it's looking pretty good for Omaha. You're probably going to get thunderstorms, but the severe stuff's probably going to stay out to your south and east, at least from what I'm seeing. No capping issues, though, and that's not surprising. Very high dew points. You're not getting any inhibition here. This is really good, really decent lapse rates. So there's probably going to be severe thunderstorms out here, but as of right now, Omaha looks to be on the safe side of this stuff. As of now. Well, that could change as we get into tonight and tomorrow morning. Can you check and see Labrador City, Canada? Oh man, I don't know. I'd have to look at the GFS for that one. Let's see here. Yeah, let's look at the GFS for that one. Total quantitative precipitation. Let's see. Where are you guys? Hold up. I know I had you just pulled up. One second. You guys are way up there. Okay. Let's take a look at this. This is over the next. Let's look at least a week, just so we have some sort of accuracy. Someone do this conversion for me. Hold up. Okay, so about an inch. Yeah, I mean, the GFS is only showing an inch up there over the next week. What's the Euro showing? Maybe less. So, I mean, a little bit, but not much as expected. Not much as expected. Oh, that's day 2. Yeah, and our day 2, by the way, this slight does stretch. I don't know why I said moderate. The slight does stretch from central Kansas up through central Iowa, most of Wisconsin, and then kind of UP and upper in northern Michigan. Western edge of Minnesota. Oh, what was that? Yeah, I mean, you've got sig hail, sig wind, and 5% tour risk out here. So everything's on the board if you're out here in western and central to northern western Minnesota. Are you asking what is the Cape in Texas? Or is that a city? Like Cape values out there in Texas? I typically like looking at surface-based Cape, not most unstable. I feel a load for me. There's not much Cape out in Texas over the next 48 hours, actually. See you, Moon. B, I appreciate you. All right, what time is it? All right, I've been on for about 45 minutes. I'll hop on later. Actually, I'm gonna hop on later today, to cover this stuff. Promise, I'm gonna be on later today to cover this stuff. Again, I do think as we get into the mid to late evening hours, central to western Nebraska and then eastern North Dakota, unfortunately, central to northern Minnesota, could get some decent storms firing up. So we'll watch that. Here's again, just really quick before I get off, I want to show you guys a look at the latest HRRR and what it's seeing. Let's go back to our 16Z here. Okay. So right there, boom. This is 5 p.m. Here we go. 5 p.m. We get to 5 p.m. There's your storms in central to western Nebraska and eastern North Dakota, and then up there in northern Minnesota. You get some down here as well in New Mexico around that time as well. So eastern New Mexico. And these start to look pretty intense down there in Nebraska as we get into 7, 8, 9. So we'll see. This is going to move off towards Sioux Falls and potentially eastern Minnesota, maybe Minneapolis as we get into the morning hours of Monday. What does July 4th look like? It's too far out. No models are going to know. It's over 2 weeks out, so it's kind of impossible to tell. Yeah, I know, Allison. North Dakota, just especially this portion central to eastern North Dakota. So hopefully these storms aren't too bad tonight. All right, I'll plan to get on, I guess, around 5 or 6 when these storms are firing off in Nebraska, North Dakota, Minnesota, and then I think we'll also be watching down there and with some heavy rainfall, excess rainfall potential, slight excess rainfall potential down there in western Texas, and strong severe thunderstorms down there too in eastern New Mexico and the panhandle of Oklahoma and Texas. All right, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you a little bit later.